What is going on, Lakers fam? This is your boy Jay Lake, bringing you Lakers all day, all the time. And again, thank you guys for coming on. Big
Thank
Al,
you, Jay Lake. Thank you.
Mario,
Hey, Jay Lake.
appreciate you guys. So, end of the season, I feel like it was both disappointing and a sigh of relief somewhat. Lakers are always a kind of a chip or bust, all or nothing type team, but in retrospect, I feel like we did great. Considering we started the season 2 of 10 with that 0.3% white whiteboard material driving us throughout the season. After those trades that we had midway through the seasons, we were undefeated at home, except for the Denver series. We jettisoned Russ and Pat and got back several key role players that got us deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, this season was a roller coaster. I remember talking to Mario about it when we started watching it. He said he couldn't watch them. It was unwatchable. It was tough to see. Like it was bad chemistry. Russ clearly shouldn't be around the team. Somehow they still let him on the team and like didn't trade him. So everything about it was not good to start. But after the trades, honestly, the whole season turned around. And as far as we got, I think you gotta take it and like be happy about the team, how they performed. Considering they weren't supposed to be here.
Yeah, Big Al, you said it. Beginning of the season, they were unwatchable to me. I couldn't watch them 2-10. As a fan, it was hard to watch, right? It was hard to see, just the team not gelling the way this was supposed to gel, or kind of what everyone thought they were supposed to be with Westbrook coming on. I had a feeling Westbrook wasn't going to be a good fit for the team, along with LBJ. I just didn't think they would mesh that well. It's just I see what they were trying to do, but it was not meant to be. So I kind of was like looking at this season like just a loss, and maybe looking for the next season. But with the midseason trades happening, I saw what they're trying to do with this new roster for the second half of the season at the trade deadline, focusing on defense, get a shooter, right, get some scorers. These the new players that came in really hopped out. I think they had the best record in the second half or after the deadline. So that was like really cool. They were coming in the playoffs hot. Um, but they're missing one aspect, one piece was that sharpshooter, right? And then we couldn't really tell they were missing it until the postseason. In the postseason, where you needed those sharpshooters, LeBron needed them. Every postseason he's been a part of for LeBron to be successful and to reach the finals and win the finals, he had those sharpshooters with him. They were not there this postseason with him. So the good young pieces, maybe enough to make it to the finals if our leaders and superstars close the game out what we're supposed to. However, from the beginning of the season, the 2-10 to what they accomplished and what's reaching them in the Western Conference Finals, that's a successful season to me. I know the way had this win or bust, but I wasn't expecting a championship this season at all. So to me, that's a W.
So LBJ earlier in the season, he said, "I'd rather not make the finals than lose in the finals." Um, do you guys think it's more disappointing that we lose the finals or the semi, or just not make it at all? Because I could kind of see both sides, right? Um, if we made it and the refs were more consistent, because I've been chirping all season long. It's like these refs, they're inconsistent. They call one play, one foul one side. They need to call it the other way. But especially during games 3 and 4, some of those notorious refs are Eric Lewis. I mean, you guys heard about Eric Lewis's burner account. Scott Foster. Those two are like the obvious repeat offenders, but several of the refs. I mean, throughout that whole series with Denver, there's those several out of bounds plays. It's Denver's ball. Those flagrants, it's like nope, we got a flagrant, but the other team didn't. Several fouls, those charges. It's basically all these momentum swings that it killed our momentum, and we easily could have had a game 3 and 4 and been even better than what the Celtics did.
Yeah, I mean, the season was definitely uh, the refs they were definitely a problem. I mean, that Celtics game with Eric Lewis, it was it was a headache. I don't know. I'm glad he's finally getting investigated for that burner account. I know I saw LeBron actually tweet about it. Like, is this poopy emoji real? Can this really be true? And yeah, I mean, this team was it had they made the finals, uh, would have it been disappointing if they had lost? Yes, it would have been really hard to lose in the finals, especially, you know, when you get there, you want to win. You don't want to like just get there. You want to win. But I mean, this team, if they had made it, I think we'd still be proud of them. And no matter what, I think it was a successful season now. Because where we were.
Well, to answer your question, Jay, if would you rather have losing the finals or losing the semis or not even make the postseason? Let me tell you right now, you would rather make the finals. You want to be a Western Conference champion, no matter what. No, no, I know with how people say, I'd rather not made it all. They say that because honestly, it hurts more. When you make it that far and you lose, the hurt is that much more, right? The impact of it all. But as a competitor, you understand, what, I'd rather be almost there, right? You rather lose in the finals because at least you were there, you were in the dance. You want to be part of the dance instead of not going to the dance. That's how every athlete is. I believe it should be. That's how I think any fans should be looking at this. At least you made it to the dance. You had opportunity, but you just it wasn't your year. Instead of saying, we didn't make the playoffs, so it wasn't. No, it's you have to go for gold. You go for it all or nothing. That's how I feel, and that's how athletes should feel as well.
I understand where you're coming from. I feel like we ended the season off where we should have, because if we did go like the Celtics and 4-3 Denver, we're out. It's like our players were pretty injured, especially LBJ. He played with that torn tendon in his foot. Most likely that tendon was a peroneal tendon. So the peroneal tendon, there's actually three of them. There's like one anterior, one posterior, one in the front, one in the back, right? Those kind of they help stabilize your Achilles. If once one of those are torn, then most likely your Achilles is to go next, and that's you guys know what happened to Kobe, right? Torn Achilles tendon, then out for the season. Then he was pretty much diminished returns after he came back. There's also the other peroneus, which is the brevis tertius, and that kind of wraps around the exterior or the outside of the foot down to the heel, and basically those all kind of stabilize your ankle.
Yeah, but uh, about that injury and what it is, we've seen LeBron play 20 years with no major injuries. Yes, he had a few injuries kind of later in his career with some ankles or maybe a knee, but no wasn't anything serious. LBJ takes care of his body. He invests about $1 million to $1.5 million in his body every year. We all know LeBron's going to go to the best doctors, the foot doctors, the best surgeons, whatever it needs to be. If he needs to have some kind of type of surgery on his foot, and we know his rehab is going to be serious. All right, he's going to take care of his body. He's going to come back. I'm not worried about his foot, especially for his 21st season. Yes, as a year older, he's a year older. As another year on his knees and legs from a long NBA career. But let's be serious. If something was gonna happen, it would have happened a long time ago. He takes care of his body. He eats right. Sometimes I hear, but he it looks like he knows how to recover his body the right way, and that's why he's doing what he's doing in his 20th year. And to even put up the numbers he was doing with the torn tendon in the postseason speaks volumes of the kind of person he is and what he does to his body to make sure he's ready to go every year. So I'm expecting a full recovery in the next season, and hopefully seeing a little more like speed or jump, as he drives into the basket this upcoming season.
I don't know. I'm a little bit worried about LeBron. If you've ever seen his feet, he's got like these feet that look like an ostrich, man. Like they are like some freaking talons or something, and he runs like gazelle. I mean, he's out there running very fast. He's still one of the fastest players. So his feet are super important to his athleticism. If he has a torn tendon, has to get it repaired. How is the rehab going to go? How is he going to recover from that? Kobe was great after the torn Achilles. He rehabbed like crazy, still was a shell of himself. I mean,
That
so
was a decade ago.
yeah, I know. I know there's modern medicine, and he
Hmm.
went to the LeBron James of feet, quoting him.
Hmm.
Um, and he'll probably see the LeBron James of other, specialty of his foot. But, I'm still worried. I mean, you never know. He's 38 years old. How is his body going to age? How is it going to recover? Of course, he's one of the top athletes in the world, and top athletes, they recover faster than, the average Joe. But yeah, I'm a little bit worried about him next season, and that's probably why he considers retirement.
I think that was more of a play on get me a better team or I'm out.
Yeah, I see both of your points. If we went like the Celtics, the last game of the Celtics, Jason Tatum, rolled his ankle, but that easily could have been a season-ending injury for LeBron. Partially torn tendon, could have been completely torn, then that would have ate up the next season too, and then he would probably really retire. But I felt like the whole season, the end of Game 3, post-game presser, they asked Rui Hachimura, how do you come back from this 0-3 deficit? His answer was, I'm not sure because I've never been there before. I feel like that kind of describes all of the Lakers, right? From top to bottom, their rookie head coach, rookie GM, majority of the players they never been there before. They don't have that post game experience, right? Postseason experience, because postseason is when these vets they shine, they dig down deep. They get the needed buckets when it's necessary down the stretch. It's like when the spotlight shines brightest and their defense clamps down, and that's kind of not the output that we had from a lot of our role players, which we expected them to provide.
Yeah, I mean, like when the trade happened and we got all those younger players, we got a bigger wing to defend in Vanderbilt. We got a couple shooters in D'Angelo and um, Malik
Easily.
Beasley, who didn't end up panning out. But I mean, it looked more similar to the 2020 team or the 2021 team. Um, Going back to that big wing, going back to shooters and stuff like that. The problem was that, we didn't have veteran leadership on this team. We don't have a
Or shooters.
Rondo, yeah, or shooters or big defenders other than Vanderbilt at the guard position. Like KCP was missed on this team. KCP would guard the best guard on the other team. And then you would have Kuzma, who's a big wing, guarding a bigger wing, whoever the big wing was, helping LeBron, helping AD. And then we'd also have the shot blocker back there in Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee. And we didn't have that. It had to be AD playing center. And, AD stepped up and played his defense, but I think it kind of hindered him a little bit on offense. So I mean, this team, yeah, it was missing its leadership. It was missing some leadership, and they got far just with LeBron and AD, and I guess Tristan Thompson is one of the veteran leaders on the team. Um,
I don't know if
but
that's
Yeah,
good or not.
that's true.
I don't know if that's something to scream about, but they definitely missed the veteran leadership after the trade.
Yeah, I mean the difference between this team and the team they won in 2020. You said it, Big Al. It was the veteran leadership out there, right? Yes, we're missing the big guys in a way like Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee to help AD, as he rotates and helps out on defense and he can focus on scoring more. But with AD and LeBron, with those two people, those two guys on the same team, they can be any team, right? Pretty much. You get some good role players. You know, honestly, you looked at what happened in the last series. If we get all 4 games, they were in striking distance to win each game. it came down really to basketball IQ, right? Not making unnecessary shots, the turnovers. And we see this from LeBron, which you never really seen. Obviously, I think he was tired. When you're tired, you end up just taking shots. You don't want to drive no more. I mean, if you play even pickup basketball, you're tired in the game. You're just gonna shoot. You're not even gonna drive no more. We all been there, So we kind of understand. We kind of get it. We're not athletes, but we could somewhat see why he was doing these shots at the end of the game. But they were at least in striking distance, and they could have won this series if the closing out of the games was better, right? If they would have played better, played smarter. Maybe having a KCP, maybe having a Rondo back there, that would have made a difference. Obviously, they're older, but someone of that caliber, they could have beat this team. I think, even though Denver was a great team and they deserved to win, you know, they they were missing the leadership. These young guys are just wild cards. They've never been there before, so they don't know how to react to the end of the game. And you saw it. You saw in this series, they didn't know how to finish, and they lost.
I mean, to be fair, like Denver's pretty young as well, and I don't know if how many veteran leaderships veterans they have other
They're
than
coached really
KCP.
well, though.
They
They
took
are,
our
they are,
KCP.
and
They're coached
yeah,
really well.
they took our KCP. They're coached well, and they just have a better mismatch against us with their size, and so that's what we were missing. We were missing that size at the guard position, and the ability to shoot the ball and help LeBron like space the floor so that he can drive. He had to be the one that was driving. So, I mean, there's things that I'm pretty sure Rob Pelinka is going to address in the offseason. But it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do.
Yeah, so I mean, every team they need their key offensive and defensive role players. You guys both made great points on our 2021 chip team. Basically, the KCP on Jamal, Howard on Joker. But playoff Rondo, I mean, he wasn't just playoff Rondo and made big shots when we had scoring droughts. He was able to name every single play on the other team. It's like he would be able to point out, hey, this player is going to curl. That player is going to screen. So you need to be in this position at that time. And he got lots of steals from it, but he was very, very necessary for our 2021 chip.
Hmm.
Not just them, but even Dudley, right? I mean, he didn't play much, but he was that, he was on the bench kind of player's coach, right? Every time any player they didn't have a good game, next game they would he would talk to them. He'd be like, hey, if you're not scoring, you need to get these rebounds. You need to step up on the defensive end. You need to pick up these steals. You need to be in this spot at this time, and he would pump them up, right? So that way, next game they would come out on fire rather than kind of. You saw several role players, they just disappeared, especially like Beasley. We needed like a
Hmm.
Dudley type to kind of pump them up too, right? But we didn't have that. Um, Looking back, do you think we have a chip-worthy team if we were to run it back?
No, they're missing a shooter. They're definitely missing a shooter. I mean, if Malik Beasley somehow turns it around, starts shooting threes like crazy, I mean, maybe we have a team, but we're still missing the big guards at that position. I mean, look at Austin Reeves, 6'4", 6'5", maybe 200 pounds. I don't know. The guy is light pocketed. He's not going to be able to, hold his weight. He may be able to move his feet well, but a bigger guard's going to definitely put him down in the post. you know, when they force switches, he's going to be mismatched all the time. Same thing with D'Lo. D'Lo is not consistently there for a guy that's going to be your third highest paid player. Um, his defense is not lacking. His defense is lacking. Um, his offense, yeah, and it's inconsistent. Uh, the team has some big men with Mo Bamba, whether we see him or not next year. If they do bring him back, I mean, it's interesting that we didn't get to see him at all in the playoffs. We saw Tristan. Maybe Tristan gets re-signed. I don't know. Um, but yeah, there's definitely missing some veteran leadership. I'd be interested to see if they actually go and get Mike Conley since he's going to be a free agent as well. So um,
Yeah, but the
we'll see.
question is, if we run it back, what's going to happen? Do they make it to
Yeah.
the conference finals?
No, they
Do they
don't.
make it to the finals?
I don't think so. I think teams are going to get better around the league, and it's going to be hard. I think they
Hey,
can
no
make
one
the
expected
second
them to make it
round.
this far, though.
Yeah, but I don't know what LeBron is going to be. You know, what is he going to be when the season starts? Is he going to be playing? Is he going to be taking some time off to recover? Like, can this team carry on with just AD? And what is AD? Can AD stay healthy all year? That's the thing as well.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather see some new pieces on the team, obviously, but to answer your question, if this team were to run it back another year together, right? More time together, right? They locked down defense even more. Learning from their mistakes from the previous season. I could see this team making it back to the conference finals. They're just if they would have made a few more shots. Think about this. We talk about how bad they played, right? And how Denver was so good, but yet we were there. It wasn't blowouts every single game. We were there in the end of the games where a shot or two would have made a difference and it changed the outcome. So we are missing the shooters. We are. But if you run it back, do we miss those shots again? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they're ready this time. Maybe D'Lo starts hitting them. Maybe LeBron makes a three. Surprises me, right? And then we're talking Lakers in the finals.
I think
So, you never know.
I think like they could still be a top 4 seed. Don't get me wrong. I think the regular season they can still manage and maybe get a top 4 seed. But I just don't think in the playoffs, where it's all about matchups and that you can consistently say that they're going to match up well with every team. I don't think they're going to match up well with every team, especially if they
No
have to face
team meshes
Denver.
so well with every team, though. It's how you adjust. Look, Denver's a tough matchup because they're just the good. But can we beat Golden State again? Yeah.
I don't think Golden State comes out with the same team. They're definitely going to change their team up. The same thing with like Dallas. The same thing. Every team in the West that didn't
Dallas didn't
get
make the
out of the
playoffs,
Western
though.
Conference. I know. I'm just saying. I think they're going to be better. What
Oh,
moves they're going to
when they
make,
get rid
I
of
don't know.
Kyrie?
Maybe.
All right,
Whatever.
before you guys get into more detail, Lakers fam, you heard it here first, right? I know you guys still have a lot of questions on, what players we're going to keep in this offseason. We're going to keep it coming, and we're going to keep answering these questions in our next video that we come out with. We'll also kind of give you a schedule our next video of, when we're going to post. That way you guys have a more consistent feel on when to expect our videos out. And we'll get into more of our players and our offseason and our next video. You heard it here first, Lakers fan, and we'll see you next time.